So because I keep getting cooked in FNAF, and I saw some other YouTubers do this, I wanted to know if I could too. And because my scripts end up like 20 minutes long, thank you for 150 subs, and I'm just gonna hop right into the video. Obviously, before you do anything, it's rules. And my rules is, I can use anything I find in the offices, no outside help. So in FNAF 3, I can't convince the kids to jump William after. Any possessed animatronics can have their IQ lowered because they're kids. Stealth is not an option unless you know they're coming for you. You'll see what I mean later. Game mechanics are also an option to use against them. No spamming techniques. For no reason at all, I'm forcing myself to get creative throughout 6 games. I don't have to fight any ghost animatronics or any animatronics that aren't even there. The only outside weapons I can get is from other animatronics. And last, I'm only doing one-on-ones. And yes, they can be back-to-back, but I'm not getting jumped since you don't get jumped in the game.
I can't fucking compete! I just can't fucking compete! Can you get the fuck?
So the first animatronic in FNAF 1 is Foxy. And you can already tell this is an easy one, because this is a child, and it shows in his run. Just look, hands up, eyes up at the camera, and he's running damn near 30 miles per hour. And you see how dark this hallway is? He clearly does not care about safety, and we're going to use that against him. And because he has an office chair as seen in Help Wanted, you can easily break the wheels off and throw him outside in the dark and leave the door open. So when he's running 30 miles per hour, he has to come to a stop to come through that door. So what'll happen is he'll run down, try to stop, slip on the wheels, run into the wall, and then you can drag him inside and keep closing the door, chopping him up. And now you got his hook and his body, which will come in clutch. So next is Freddy. So wait for him to get to this stage where he's staring at the camera. And when he's not looking, open the door, hit him with the chair so you can knock him over. And you see this gap right here between his head and his body? Put Foxy's hook right there and pull as hard as you can. And then snap his neck. And then you got Freddy's big body. Next is Bonnie. Similar to Freddy. Wait for him to get right here and stare at the camera. Then come out and throw Freddy as hard as you can at his head. And throw his torso first since it'll be the heaviest and biggest. And throw his head next. And then when he's off balance, use the fact that there are kids against him and beat his ass. They don't know how to defend themselves. And you got him in the corner too. So rip his face off, punch him right in his exoskeleton, throw him on the floor, and punch it over and over. And then rip it out of his body. Next is Chica. So before she gets right here, put a poster on the outside of the window. So when she gets right there, she tries to pull it off and she's distracted. And while doing that, grab one of these fat monitors on the desk, sneak out and throw it as hard as you can at her head. And since they're supported by this skinny exoskeleton, this is at least, if not destroying her head, breaking her neck. And Golden Freddy, before he shows up, put Chica and Bonnie on top of the table, get behind it and wait. Then when he eventually does show up and he doesn't see you, you can push the table on top of him. And sure, he can teleport, but I find it hard to believe that anybody is losing to a teleporting, face down, paralyzed kid. Next is FNAF 2. And since we already destroyed the first animatronics, there won't be any weather animatronics. And because of that, first we got Toy Bonnie. So wait for him to pull up to the vent, put on the Freddy mask, and wait for him to leave. And while he's going back into the vent, jump on his leg joints and make them break. And drag his ass back through the vent. And since small children were able to tear Mangle apart, I feel like you could tear Bonnie apart easily. Or at least beat him to death with his own legs. And Toy Chica is getting violated. Because again, this is a stupid kid. Wait for her to come in. Keep the Freddy mask on, but like, oh my god, who killed Bonnie? Then when she comes fully in and looks down at him, RKO the shit out of her. And since he's probably too heavy to pick up, you can just summon your inner Last of Us Abby and slam her head into the ground until she stops fighting. And while it's still warm,
Something just snapped.
next is Mangle. Kids tore Mangle apart over and over until they just couldn't put her back together. So literally the only problem I would have is getting them off the ceiling. And I could just throw Freddy's mask as hard as I could at them. Like really spin with that motherfucker and throw it. And that fall is going to kill them since it's like a 6-foot drop. And if by some miracle, even though they have no protection, they did survive the fall, rip off the heads. Next is Freddy. And you see these cords on the wall? When he comes through, I'm beating his ass. And since he's dumb enough to get fooled by his own face and he's still a kid, if you hit him in his eyes, he'll instinctively cover up his eyes and not be able to see. So then you can slide under his legs, tie his ankles, push him on the floor, and then beat him to death with the desk. Next is the puppet. And for the puppet to jump from here to here, it has to be a pretty obvious jump and a pretty hard jump at that. So when he does do this like 10-foot jump, just duck. Then when he slams into the wall, and since this isn't really animatronic, get on top of him and start punching him out. And next is Balloon Boy. Do I even have to say anything? Take his sign and beat him to death with it. If FNAF 3, the only real threat is really Springtrap, and he sets himself up. And if you keep everything maintained, then the hallucinations won't pop up. And because they literally don't do anything to you, I won't be counting them as a ghost animatronic, just a hallucination, what they are. So simple way to beat them, don't let the gas get out of hand. And even so, you wouldn't even have to deal with the gas because you can just kill Springtrap on the second night, the second he pulls up. Let him get into the office. Before he gets into the office, rip the maintenance panel off the wall and then hold it in front of the camera tablet so he can't see you. Then when he runs past in this animation, slam both of the tablets on him, tackle him, rip his face mask off, and then stomp on his head. Easy money. Like, you telling me this is gonna survive some size 29s? FNAF 4 has to be the third easiest one because Fred'll summon Freddy and you can just snatch them off the bed since they're like the size of a pillow and rip them in half. So no Freddy. Next is Bonnie, and since you're not a small child and you can actually use your brain, grab some of these toys. Just because they're plastic doesn't mean they don't hurt. So grab the phone and the robot, then when he jump scares you and picks you up, slam them into his eyes, grab one in his head, push him into the ground, and then slam the dresser on top of his head to finish him off. Next is Foxy. Since he goes in your closet, throw your mattress off your bed, tear it apart, grab some of the wood beams. So when he jumps out to scare you and pauses, beat him to death with the support beams. Next is Chica. Wait for her to jump scare you, but you want to be facing the opposite way so when she picks you up, you're right next to the lamp. Then you can shove it into her mouth and turn it on. And since they can breathe, it's some moisture with those animatronic parts. And then just turn the lamp on and she's getting fried from the inside out. Golden Freddy has to be easier than Foxy because he only puts his head inside of the closet or the bed. So what you can do is grab the other animatronic parts and smash his head to pieces. And Nightmare is a ghost and optional, so skip. And I can't find anything on Nightmarian, so I'm just gonna assume he's weak like the first one because he's skinny as hell and even taller. So I'm pretty sure you can just fight him again and beat his ass. 2-0 Marionette, good. I don't know which one we decide for Plush Trap and Balloon Boy. One of them is a plushie, and the other one gets frozen if you shine a light on him. So just turn the light on, push him out the chair, and beat him to death with the chair, because he can't do anything with the light still on. Now this is the second easiest one, and it's so easy I won't even use weapons. So Biddy Bab, Electro Biddy Bab, Lol Bit, Mini Rena, Bonbon, Bonnet, all these mini animatronics. I know I said no repeating technique, but they're all like 1 foot tall, irrelevant. So I'll make an exception right here. Grab the Electro Biddy Bab and the normal Biddy Bab and beat the shit out of the rest of them with them. Now, all you have to do is just survive and do your job. Then when they all fuse and enter, wait for him to come into the office. And since they look like they're a bunch of unstable wires, I'm pretty sure you can just punch a hole through them. And if not, slam the door on them when they walk through so they can get cut in half. And if you survive this and they come into your house, you can hit them with the bottom part of the lamp so it shatters on their head. Hit them with the dresser, slam the TV on them, then slam the dresser on them just to make sure they're not getting back up. And the couch on them to make sure they're not getting back up. The easiest way to beat Pizzeria Simulator is to do one of the endings in the game. Don't buy any animatronics, don't salvage anything. Just do your job and get paid without the risk. Because unless you have some personal grudge against these animatronics that makes you want to fight them, then there's no reason for you to actually buy them. But if you do want to see that, go make your own YouTube channel. I'm not about to sit here and waste my time with that. And next is Security Breach. And because most of the animatronics get killed by Gregory, I'm just going over Freddy, Daycare Attendant, Vanessa, and Springtrap. Vanessa's a normal human. You can literally just throw anything, a trash can, a chair, whatever at her, then just stab her with her own knife. The Daycare Attendant is skinny like the puppet, so you can just beat his too.
Fight back, nigga!
And Freddy, you could kill him like one of the endings. And Springtrap, just unplug the energy machine that's keeping him alive. So if you're not a child, FNAF is pretty easy to beat just using your brain and brute strength. And I don't care what they say about these animatronics. I can buy the hype, but I'm not buying the weight. Look at Nightmare. Tell me he weighs more than maybe 100 pounds. That's all I gotta say. I'm out.